Anyways, I wanted to go here. This is definitely the place to be.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
Yeah.
Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
You gotta keep it in mind,
Stanley
man.
was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
Anyways, you gotta have your own proverbial bucket with you at all times, guys. When life throws you a curveball,
just sat around twiddling his
think
thumbs.
of your bucket.
Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. $2845. Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
What? Mean. Kinda mean, to be honest. I was just having a good time, but... The door is in a different place this time around. It wasn't here. Ah! No! Jet, that was...
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate.
I looked there, though.
It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would...
The door was next to the keypad. Yeah, it was.
It is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Yeah!
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
I want to go press the number 3 really bad. What? What? I swear I saw a figurine. Aww.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over. Well, he said, the number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him?
Yeah.
Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
Is there anything better than this, chat? Isn't this what peak content looks like? Aren't you just reminiscing and glad you decided to subscribe that one time, so you can witness this pinnacle of Twitch live streaming? You may not like it, but this is what peak content on the internet looks like.
New subscriber detected.
33,333,333,333.
Thank you very much, Bannister, for the 23 months. Ah, very nice. The figure is gonna be there again as soon as I press the button, bro. As soon as I press the button, the figure is gonna be there. I swear to God.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number
What?
3 repeatedly. A hint of regret nagged in the back of Stanley's mind.
I want to press the number
To
3.
demonstrate, Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
There's a room with red and blue. I think the room with red and blue is a mind control facility. Fine, we'll go over
Although
here.
This passageway had the word escape written on it. The truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
I'm calling the bluff. We found the infinity hole. Well, we didn't die yet. Oh, God.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
No!
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
Don't ask.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You're standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like the bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within, a cavernous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. I don't know how to pronounce that. I've got to Google it.
Substantiate.
Substantiated. Thank you, wannabe Brian. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were in ignorance and darkness? Substantiated. This is my favorite word. Oh my God.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
A photograph of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of this euphoria from exposure to that many buckets at once. I think that's more than 25 buckets. I think that's just a handful more. A bucket with 2 handles. This is a Da Vinci design. Clearly, he wrote from right to left. Because he was left-handed, right? This bucket is depicted as having 2 handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. That seems reasonable. What's over here? Oh my god, look at that. That's a beautiful bucket. An Inferno bucket, a replica of the Inferno bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains. No one can control a bucket. Cave drawing. While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of a bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. I think that's beautiful, yeah. Thank you, bucket. My bucket got crushed. It's a sad story. I don't want to talk about it.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
I agree. Like, you never truly own a bucket. You only look after it for the next generation. And personally, I think that's beautiful. The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between the bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there's yet more that is always out of reach. This distance, inevitably, is for our own good. Oh no. Is that what I think? Oh no, never mind. I thought that was what it thought it was. Okay. Not the case. Don't worry about it. We can fly now.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Okay. I wasn't gonna take the bucket.
Stanley wondered to himself.
We can't.
Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned?
The bucket
He
and its
wanted
pedestal
to be more
disappeared.
careful with time from now on.
Never mind, chat. It's over here. I thought it was in the previous room, but I might be accidentally screwing myself up. I wasn't gonna take it. Nah. Not taking the bucket. The bucket is powerful, man. I'm not worthy of its power right now. I don't deserve it.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I don't want to.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Lowko, you're my bucket?
The lounge
Dude.
was sublime. A work of art.
That is the nicest
What
thing
was
anyone
it
has ever
about
said.
this? But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop. It's good advice, to be honest. Always tell the truth. Or at least don't lie. Okay, there's a
Stanley,
5,000
perhaps
fine.
We've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not sure. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
Yes?
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Thank you. Thank you, I did it.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
No. What do we say to the bucket? Not today. Maybe later. Maybe later today. But not... No,
When
not...
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Did it cross off the other one too? It did.
Coming
What else
to a
was
staircase,
downstairs?
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Was this where that... Yeah, the car, the infinity puzzle right over there. Once I have all the figurines, I think I'm worthy once again of the bucket. At this point, I'm just not at that level. You understand. Do you think going down goes anywhere? I don't know, Alcazar.
New subscriber detected.
69 buckets.
Thank you, Metameister. Is my character humming? Did we make it? Of course we didn't. It's literally the same place. I don't like how we haven't heard about bucket worship.
Stepping into his manager's office,
For a
Stanley
while.
was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy.
I know, bro.
So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
This is what I get for trying to outsmart the game.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
I would feel calmer if the bucket was with me.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies.
I don't
What do you
know.
think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the
I don't know where it
intrinsic
came from
sense of
and why it
happiness
was suddenly
that
here,
you
but
get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1?
I got 4 out of 6 now.
I'm sure it will come to me.
Figlies? Tigus. Tigus Figly. Buckets are amazing, man. I've never really thought about buckets very much so. I've always kind of taken them for granted, if I'm being really honest with you guys, but yeah, I gotta say, buckets.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
It's beautiful.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television
427,
screens.
that's us.
What horrible secret did this place hold?
I haven't held a bucket in real life in
Did
weeks.
he have the strength to find out?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't held a bucket in several weeks.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
427.
Each bore the
That's
number of
me.
an employee in the building.
That's my office! Right over there!
The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
This seems like healthy behavior for someone who runs this place. Just to have,
This mind
you know,
control facility
couple
was
cameras.
too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
Mm-hmm.
Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
I find that impossible to believe.
No.
Yeah.
He refused to believe it.
A red and blue room, that's what we're looking for right
His
now.
own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
There's a bunch of buttons I can press. I remember there was a certain order in which they needed to be pressed, but I don't remember what the order was. Yeah, there's some blue in this room and also red, but I don't know. Also, it's super dark. I cannot really see much. Yeah, 22845 427 3333333. Yeah, maybe we should go smash the button 3. I do so love the number 3. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I knew once upon a time, but... Do we turn the machine on?
And
Last
when
time
at
I turned
last
it
he found
off.
The source of the room's power. He knew it would. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
I want the power!
I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated
No!
with proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode,
Nuclear?
eliminating the entire complex.
That seems a little bit
Long until
unnecessary.
Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes
Ah!
off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where
Yellow.
to start.
Yellow.
What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are?
Red.
A moment
Oh,
of silence
green.
before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm
It shows the
enjoying
number
this so
3 on
much.
every screen.
You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley.
3 blue?
It doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now?
Yes.
Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it on?
Yes.
Look at you, running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why
Yes.
would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge.
Oh,
It's a
no.
tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley.
Yeah.
That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
That was kind of sad. Oh. Happily AF.
Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Yes. I think that the bucket would have changed
Stanley
everything.
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Bucket is the greatest thing ever. You can do so many things with a bucket. Somewhere both red and blue, and then a large room with lots of boxes. I don't know, man.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket.
No!
I can really feel it now.
It's mine!
Bucket, it belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here.
No!
It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket.
I don't think I can
It
anyways.
must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no.
I like the
Coming to a
bucket
staircase,
even more.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I like the bucket even more than I like Shrek. And Shrek is love. Shrek is life. Everyone knows that. Is there anything out there that's better than a bucket?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire. If
Two
not for the
buckets?
soothing
Oh,
presence of the
jet. A bucket with two handles?
In his darkest of
Ooh.
hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
I did.
Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the
2845.
keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes.
We've done all of this multiple times, though.
Explanation.
We've done all of this multiple times. I actually don't know what the difference is. Other than the fact that I now have a bucket with me. A bucket, of course, with two handles would be a little bit too much, guys. We all understand that. Thousands of people die every year trying to make one. We found that out already.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Does it give me a
This
different line?
passageway had the word escape written on it. The truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Okay, never mind then. I don't want to go to the art exhibition once
But
again
of
with,
course,
you know, the bucket.
Stanley and the bucket thought better of it and realized they simply had too much to live for.
Yeah, so I've been here. I don't know what the difference is going to be this time around. Is it just going to repeat in the exact same way?
On an enormous room packed with
247's over there.
television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
I can just open the window this time around. Sure, the door to the outside world.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into
I do
tears.
get different text now, though, because I guess of the bucket.
Gently reassuring it that everything would be fine.
The bucket is changing everything. Yeah, I think I need to
Was
collect the other
bucket under
figurines.
the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do
It's a room
things
with red
it
and
didn't
blue,
wish to do?
and then a room with a lot of
What does
boxes.
the bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions
No.
raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
No spoilers, please, guys.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world.
You know, if you scream into a bucket, it screams
He
back
could
at you,
trust
and I think
no
that's
one
beautiful.
Except for the bucket.
What happened to the warehouse you were earlier that you jumped off
But
of?
here was the proof. The heart of the operation.
We went to the other side
Controls
once as
labeled
well.
With emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over...
Okay, so that's a different choice than what I made last run. But I'm pretty sure
Stanley and the bucket.
it opens the door, doesn't it?
Was it over?
Me and the bucket can maybe go free.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together.
That's beautiful.
With one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and What? Wait. What was happening?
No!
Why had the door stopped?
Come on, man!
Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
Let me live my life!
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty. Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket.
What a twist!
Needed the soothing warmth of the bucket.
No!
Go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place.
We were so
Not while
close.
He has such a precious bucket in his arms.
Yet so
Not
far.
while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself.
Yes, it is.
As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
But... Okay. I'm gonna say I'm gonna take the bot. Ha!
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct?
Yes! That's where the next figurine is.
Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
I missed the bucket. It's right here. I've not sprung out. No, I've not jumped out of a window.
With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Guys, we're back. Ah, don't be worried about it, Flip a Flapjack. I've got him back here, my man. Hooray!
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest.
Where was the warehouse again?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him,
Straightforward, right?
telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
This is where the warehouse is. I'm gonna actually
No,
cross this time.
said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Okay. I listen to you, Bucket.
Good.
Said the bucket.
Oh, there it is!
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
That's okay, Poey. I'll see you next stream, dude.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
I can't drop it. Like, I could have jumped down. Yeah. I'm just going in here, I guess. Oh, no.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home where we can go about life together.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket.
What the f-
Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend.
Thanks.
And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
That's kind of depressing indeed, man. When you're that lonely that your bucket speaks to you. Oh my god, I've got... This is beautiful. It's bucket art. You have to squint to see it, but it is a bucket on both sides. That's... I think that's beautiful. Look at Stanley, guys. He doesn't even own a microwave. Imagine not owning a microwave. That's crazy. Jazz music. There it is. Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press B to take me to work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Sure. I don't believe it. Press C to take me back home with you.
New subscriber detected.
Thank you, Bugs.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Thank you very much, Bugs, for the support. Where's the bucket? Oh, the bucket's over here. Press T to go back to work.
I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket.
No!
It can't think. It can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different.
Next thing you're telling me is that Santa's
It
fake.
doesn't do anything else.
I choose to not believe it. My favorite animal is the unicorn. What does it say? Who farted? Is Lowko blind? What am I missing? What? Oh, are you okay? Don't listen to the loud man. Press H for us to go back home.
You see, he's not listening.
Dude, it's a romantic
He's
evening with the
taking
bucket.
orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time, it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Press F to ignore anyone in your life except for me. Yes!
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket.
It can fit the hole in my chest.
The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Press U to go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Bay watching television on the couch together. Press J to relive the same day with me over and over.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Because it is. Press I to go back home to... Okay, please help me out, guys. Press I to go home to work to home to work to home.
No. I'm having feelings. The bucket. Oh, no. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing.
Don't leave the candles
The
on.
bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
It's dangerous. It is romantic until your place burns down.
Stanley, give me the bucket.
No!
Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley.
No!
I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
Go back to work, Stanley. Don't give away the bucket. Oh, the bucket now gets to be in the first corridor.
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone. Not with the bucket around.
What? I was gonna say, it's in the first hallway, but we never started out in the hallway. It doesn't matter, I got a bucket. Everything else is irrelevant.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Is there anything better in life than a bucket? I need to find the 1 million boxes. F-U-I-J. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. What? Did something just happen, or did I just... Did something change, or am I hallucinating? I don't think anything happened, right? I'm not gonna be tempted again.
Can you feel it? The broom closet. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Nope. No, wait, that's... Ah, right. I don't want to... Wait, what? Where did I go last time? I'm so confused. Okay, we'll go this way, I guess. Haven't explored that much over yet in this area, but...
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours.
He's not there.
Planned for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket.
No!
Someone else's bucket.
We've already heard this
How
one!
did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience.
I've already done this!
Psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeated.
I'm gonna go and hit it like that. Yeah, the B stands for 3, that's for sure,
All of his
but...
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley...
How did I get to the warehouse last time around?
Telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better? No, never mind.
Oh, no, I go straight over here.
It was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Okay, so we know that there's a figurine over here to the
Said
left.
bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there.
I think
Go
I'll have
the
to
cargo
jump down
lift.
or something. I thought maybe there's a, I can't jump. There's a ramp, Lowko? A ramp? I could jump down halfway across. A small ramp? Oh, right over here. Oh, shit. Dude, this is the way. Oh, my God. Okay, I'm making this way more complex than it needs to be. Classical Lowko. Making things harder than they need to
You're
be.
getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anarines. Very soon, you'll collect the
That's
last
not the
number,
name!
And then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it.
Yeah, I'm at
We'll
5
be
out of
different
6.
people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You
No,
can't go back to when you had no Figler Anarines. None of
dude,
us
there's
can.
a different day. I never... I can't even imagine when I used to have 0 Figler Anarines. Oh. What? Okay. Not what I expected, but... Those for the zoomers in the chat are called cassette tapes. They're crazy little devices that could contain audio. I used to have a thing called a Walkman that I could basically use like a, it had like a, I know that headphones these days are wireless for the most part, but you could have like this thing called a 3.5mm plug, and you'd plug it straight into the Walkman, and then you'd put one of those things on there. Now, every once in a while, you would run out of music. Guess what you would do? You would flip it. You would flip it. It's just wild.
Donation confirmed.
How do I connect it to my phone? Does it have an app?
It does not have an app. No, this is the app, Gavilan. It's incredible. You could use a pen to rewind as well, but that would sometimes fuck it up because if you use the wrong side, then like a bunch of the tape would come bulging out. You had to rewind on the correct end only. And I remember sometimes you could have like tapes that weren't meant to be overwritten, but you could use like little pieces of I don't know, like tape to like go over the sides on two particular corners. And if you cover those two bits, sometimes on something that was locked, you could still actually record over it regardless. Yeah. It was beautiful. It was like an IRL hack. There it is, dude. That's like a Walkman, except without the walking part.